Right, this is going to be a video on how to take the tank off on a Triumph Tiger 1200. So that's 2018 model, Gen 3 onwards. I've never done it before, and I guess it's a regular service thing really, because there's an air filter under there and the spark plugs are under there. I'd already made a video about removing the tank plastics, and that was because I was laying some cabling for some extra lights and stuff like that. So I'm not going to go through that again. The only other extra step I took on here that I didn't on the other video, I just removed the piece with the power outlet. I actually did loosen it before, but it comes off very easy, and it's just a couple of spade terminals on the power outlet. That's that 10 amp power outlet permanently connected to the battery. So you need to take that off to be able to get this tank off cleanly. So I need to put the alarm, I have an alarm on this bike, in winter mode, so I can remove this battery without the alarm constantly going off. So you just put the bike's ignition on and you hold the grey and the black key together for 10 seconds until you get a single beep, then turn the ignition back off. So your bike's now in winter mode. So if you're storing this for any length of time and it's in a very safe place because you haven't got full alarm mode, go into winter mode. But if you've got a battery tender, what the hell, you might as well leave it into full alarm mode. Anyway, now I'm free to take the battery off. Now I'm in winter mode. Right, remove the battery. Notice no alarm going off. It's quite a light battery. Not bad. Okay, this looks like an obvious fuel drain hose. Just get out of its clip. Right, drain the fuel. I don't think I got too much in this tank. Right, I'm nearly full. And I've just put the bike on its side stand to get a little bit more fuel out. So, tank drained. Next step. Right, remove the two rear bolts, holding the tank onto the frame. There we are. That rubber's staying there, so that's great. Right, same the other side. Right, I'm going to have to lift this tank to get to, I guess I'm going to have to take the fuel lines off, and there's probably going to be some breathers under there. Let's see what we got. Oh, that lifts easy enough. There's some of my wiring that I put in earlier. Okay, breather here, breather there, fuel, a high pressure fuel line, and a connector there for, I don't know, I guess fuel gauge and stuff. So I need to prop that up with something. I suspect it's going to be a toilet roll. Oh, here we are. Toilet roll to the rescue. Let's see if this is enough. Yeah, a bit squashy. I have to find something else. I nearly forgot, I have to take my Motec powered tank ring off to be able to take this tank off. Just an interesting aside there. This is wired into the permanent live connection here. This front DIN socket underneath the plastic, obviously. But the way SW Motec use it, when you put your tank bag on top, there's a little magnet in here and it makes this circuit. So when you're not using your tank bag, this circuit isn't live. So yeah, quite ingenious. Well, I couldn't find anything suitable to hold that tank up, so I'm back to the toilet roll. I found some old pieces of very thin steel bracket. So I've shoved a couple of those in the toilet roll, taped them over so they don't fall over. So now I've got a nice, solid, soft item to hold the tank up. Okay, toilet roll number one, you're demoted. Toilet roll number two. Let's see. That'll do. Right. So, okay, breather here, there's no clamp on it. Another one the other side. Oh, they dropped off very easily. breather there, up to here. So one the other side too. Here he is. Okay, that came off very easily. All right. Yeah, that came off very easily. So a left and right hand breather. Actually, that looks a different size, is it? Yeah, okay. Not that you would get them mixed up, but yeah, that right hand breather is a bigger inner diameter than this left hand one. So something to watch out for, but look, unless you're yanking the breathers out, it'd be hard to get those mixed up. So now I'll remove a couple of electrical connections next. So this one first. Oh, that was easy. And the brown one back there. Might just do that from the other side. Okay, the brown one came out just as easily. So the brown one's on the right hand side. Look, I've not done this before, so I'm filming everything. So if it unexpectedly means I have to go away and do something else for a while, I'm not going to forget the brown one's on the right. Now, so last thing I have at the rear here is the fuel line. That's going to be under pressure. So this here, that's going to be under pressure. What I should do is connect the battery back on, crank it over a couple of turns. But I'm going to risk it for a Swiss-Kit. I'm going to fill this with a load of toilet roll and hope it's just a temporary squirt of fuel out. So I've gone real belt and braces here. I don't know whether it's just going to be a tinier spurt of fuel or what. Like, it's not going to be gallons or anything, obviously. It's just a bit of pressure in the pipe. So I'm just protecting all my electrical circuitry here because there's piles of it just around here and a bit more loo roll underneath there. So my fuel connection's here. So this clip will probably slide out and then I'll see what else I need to do. So here's my fuel hose. I want to disconnect it here. So this brown clip will move back. Yep, that looks like as much as it moves back. And I'm going to somehow have to squeeze that, squeeze the sides of that to get that off. It'll be self-healing, but I'm going to stand up so I'm not in eye line of the thing when it sprays a bit of fuel. Well, that's hard to get your fingers in. Real hard. Oh, I can feel my 90% of the way there. Well, I got it off in the end. You're just trying to get it over that little lip there. It's difficult to get your fingers in, but once you've pulled the brown tab out the way, it's trying to get your fingers top and bottom to squeeze it to get it over that lip. I ended up having this turned at a bit of an angle to do it. But listen, I needn't have worried about cranking over the bike. What pressure there was gone. The bike's been standing for a while, so what pressure there was gone. So there was just a dribble of petrol out of it. No pressure whatsoever, so I needn't have worried too much. But there was a dribble, so it was good to have the toilet paper and stuff like that to take that up. Right, it seems now I have a fuel transfer pipe here, which goes down, runs down in there, and you can see there's one on the left here, so I suspect there's one on the right. I'm going to have to disconnect that from the tank, obviously, to be able to get the top of that tank up, and I'm probably going to have to, just take these two off. I'll see if I can drain the fuel out of that transfer pipe. Wow, it's starting to rain real heavy. That drone in the background is the rain. So good day to do this. So I don't know whether there's going to be any fuel in this part of the tank. I'm hoping not. I'll find out when I take that drain pipe off, or that balance pipe off. Right, I've got to take this balance pipe off the back of the tank here. Now I don't know if any fuel's going to come out here, so I've just put a little plastic run down there just in case. Let's see. I have these clamps here. I'm not too sure how well they'll work as fuel clamps. I probably need something with a bit more pressure, but we'll see. I may be lucky. I'm hoping there's nothing in this. Just got to pinch the fuel line clip. So I'm going to get that out of the way first and get this clip down out the way first. Come on, come on. There we are. So I've just got that clip out of the way, so I just need to pull this down here. Okay, a bit stiff. You can tell this has not been off since the factory, maybe. Oh, I don't know. I could be making that up. Ah, good. Dry. That was uneventful. So that's the rear balancer pipe off, fuel balancer pipe off, which is going all the way up to the front. So next one here. Right, so this balance pipe here, there's just another one on the other side, so I've got to remove that. You might notice now the bike is on its side stand. I put it on its side stand for a bit because the drain was on the left and it just drained a little bit more, not much more really, you know, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But I'm leaving it on the side stand because I'm up against a wall here a bit. So that's just giving me a little bit more access to the other side. So all I'm going to do is go around the right hand side and remove this drain pipe here as well. I don't expect any fuel to come out of it. If I had so little out of this one. Now the bike's leaning to the left, I shouldn't get any out of it. That's it here on the right hand side, just at the front of the cylinder head. I've released the spring clip. I just need to pull that down now. Yeah, that came off bone dry on this right hand side. So this pipe, when you come to put it on, goes all the way right the way back up to that shoulder, so it goes on a good bit. And it's handy to have something like this to draw the thing down rather than do it by hand that I did on the left hand side. So that was easy. So we're free at the front and the back, so this tank should come off now. Right, I'm going to take the tank off, and with that many pipes off, there's bound to be there's bound to be somewhere that a bit of fuel escapes from. Down here near this front door. So you'll have to put up with me being in the way. Well, I can see two rubbers there, just about there and there. So, that's great. Something's spilling out somewhere. Where is it? The balance pipes. Yeah, making quite a fuel mess here. So, okay, be prepared. I spilt a fair bit of fuel on the floor. I say a fair bit, it's a few egg cupfuls really, but enough to make a bit of a pong. I'll have to open the door, get rid of that. Okay, I don't see how you'll avoid getting a bit of fuel on the floor like that. So don't do it in your front room. That tank was quite light when it came off. So once all those lines were off, that was very easy to lift off. As I say, you wouldn't want to do it with any fuel in it. So what have we got? I can take my emergency toilet roll accoutrements off. air filter in here. Might as well have a look at it. So, of course, if you're just changing an air filter, perfect. You want to take that tank off and then take this off. I think I will, just to check my air filter out. But that was where the front of the tanks were gripping on. Very easy to slide it off that. Locator there as well. Okay, the airboxes are simple. A few screws all the way around. It's a lot of rigmarole. I say that, but you know, a Triumph mechanic, a Triumph trained mechanic or dealer, they're going to be much quicker than me. And they'll have the tools. They'll have clamps for the fuel lines and all sorts. I'm just lucky the bike's been idle for so long while I waited for my new switchgear that there's no fuel pressure. Not that it wouldn't have stopped me, but right. That's the airbox screws out. I take it this connector has to come out somehow. Yep, that was easy. Oh hey, one air filter. Oh, I think we might as well change it while we're here. I'll have to get one ordered up. It looks bad, but it's probably not that bad, to be perfectly honest. So that doesn't look too hard to get the airbox off. And that's what you'd have to do, obviously, if you wanted to check the spark plugs. So now we really are fitting the air filter. So these are about £24, I think, in the UK. They're £31.95 here in Ireland, in Europe. So same kind of design. Well, yeah, it's the exact same kind of design. It's a Triumph filter. There's no savings to be had putting in K&N and all that crap, really. These things aren't expensive. Cool, easy fit. As I say, I don't think it was terrible. But while I'm there, and it's such a low cost. Right, airbox lid back on. Right, airbox back on. Sensor. There's a little cable tray for it there. Excellent, air filter changed. So, next step, tank back on. I'll leave it there though, because the tank is obviously just the reverse of putting it all back on.